Hello everyone, welcome to F1 2020 career mode. Today is deadline day. We have to decide on the future of our teammate Lando Norris. Are we going to fire him and take out the competition, almost increasing our chances of winning a championship by maybe a third? We'll have to wait and see. Not much longer though, because we're doing it right now. Now is the time that we're going to renew or go to the driver market to sign someone else in this season 5 of My Team career mode. We are approaching Lando accepts. Now, will he take the offer? Will he stay on with the team for another half a season? Yes is the answer. What were you guys expecting? You think I was going to fire him? Given how well he's been driving, championship threats? No, of course I'm not going to fire my teammate. That would not go down so well. Welcome guys to another episode of Career Mode. Episode number 90 for the Belgian Grand Prix. Lando stays on because he's actually a really good chance of winning the title. If I don't do it, then Lando can. So I at least want to have someone within the Marduk Motorsport fold win the championship if it's not me. So we're heading into another episode. That's how things stand in terms of the championship. Max Verstappen does lead, and I'm going to need to work up with my teammate, hopefully lean on him a little bit. Hopefully he can lead the team in a direction that is going to help us challenge Red Bull and Mercedes for the constructors, but also the drivers. But before we get into things today, I just want to make attention to a little side project that I've started recently. I have a Clips channel. Yes, I'm like every other YouTuber out there right now who's making a second channel, and well, I've wanted to do this for a long time, and I thought, screw it, let's do it now. So you guys can go check out my second channel, which has clips from basically stuff from like old YouTube videos, from my Twitch streams. I'm only going to upload things that I feel like are worthy, that are funny, or like have memes and stuff, just things that I think will add value to you guys. If you don't have time to tune into all of my old videos, you can understand all of these old references and stuff, so go check it out. I'll leave a link to it down in the description. We're on 74 subscribers, as I understand at this point, so if you want to be there in the very early stage, if you want to be an OG of my second channel, then this is your chance to do so, basically. Because we're starting off a whole new community, and I hope you guys can join me on this venture, and I look forward to seeing you guys over there. So link in the description, go check it out, and I would be much appreciative of that. So in terms of this weekend, we start off with Friday practice. We topped out practice 1, as you can see there. Lando down in P6, so that was interesting, but he was on the hard compound tire, so he's got a lot of pace that he was kind of hiding in that first session. Practice 2, things tightened up a lot. Lando was only 800ths away. We're kind of showcasing the pace of our car at this race weekend. We made some big strides in terms of upgrades. I think we did a ultimate brake upgrade, which will hopefully help us in overtaking, but it's going to make a massive difference when we get to Monza, where there's lots of heavy braking zones. But the pace is good. Looking forward to qualifying, which is happening basically now. So please like, subscribe, and let's get into it. It's quali time for the Belgian Grand Prix. Let's get into it. We're running a somewhat fresh engine. We're not using brand new internal combustion engine. We're not using a brand new turbo either. We're saving some of those parts for the next round, that being Monza. I'm not 100% sure of my pace around here, so I just want to guarantee, or well, give myself the best chance of winning in Monza with absolutely fresh components at the next Grand Prix. But I still think we're on target for some good points in this one. I still think we can win, and I hope we can win. So I'm going to do the best possible job I can here in qualifying. I have a league racing setup that's not too old, which I'm utilizing for this race, and that's a big off at Pouhon in qualifying 1. Somehow...
Front wing damage. Recommend you box for a new one.
Somehow, we are not out of this session. Ben, do you have damage? Which is the title of today's upload on my second channel. Go check it out. Yes is the answer. I do have damage. And I'm going to have to come into the pits and fix that up. But that is going to put an end to our session because we've only got a limited time remaining. The time that I've got in at the moment is only good enough for 13th. And we stay in 13th, thankfully. A lot of the back market teams are just too far away from us to really challenge us, even on a bad lap or a semi-okay lap. So that was a get-out-of-jail card for us, a wake-up call, I suppose, to not take too many liberties going through Puon. Because really, I think I just went for a Hail Mary through there. I just think I put too much energy through the tires. I just turned in too fast, basically, and the tires couldn't cope. So, yeah, going to have to be a little bit careful going through there. But we are lacking a lot of time through the middle sector. And that was one of the corners where I tried to make up a bit of that time. So, yeah, we'll have to watch out for that. Anyway, Q2 is well underway. We're currently in P12 on a bank of time. But we run through here again. And this time, we don't crash. Thankfully enough. Hopefully we don't... That's the last time we have an excursion with the barriers. Otherwise, we might be running out of front wings. However, we improved by a second over our previous best with a brand new set of tires and I think a click of extra downforce. Did I do an extra click of downforce? If I didn't do it in Q2, I definitely did it by Q3. It gets us through to the next session. Just about. We're 9/10 shy of Alex Albon, who is absolutely flying. Lando put in a great time on mediums to get into the top 10, which is mightily impressive. Our banker run in Q3 was, I think, 2/10 shy of what we did in Q2, but it was a decent banker time nonetheless. We're going to go out again at the end of the session here, and what I've actually done is I've taken the front wing off again. So I've gone from 2.7 to 1.7 again, which is what we originally had in Q1, where we originally crashed in. I increased the aero, and it helped at some corners, but not in others. Like Puon, I had to be a little bit more careful. With 1.7 wings, I can go a bit more flat out. It's a compromising setup. The AI are just so fast. At this point in the career mode, with 110 difficulty, sometimes I think they're too fast. I think that's some of the times they do a glitched, and yeah, you guys know about this, but it's very, very hard to compete with these guys over the course of one lap, and we've been struggling a lot lately. P6 today, 7/10 shy of pole position. Alex Albon in Q3 was an absolute monster in the 35s. Lando in the best car, couldn't even manage that himself, so he's starting from P2 on the front row of the grid, but crucially for him, he's on the harder compounder tyre for the start of the race, so I don't think Lando will be complaining too much. And, you know, actually, P2 is probably the place to start from in Spa, because you got the slipstream up the Kemmel Straight, and, yeah, it's maybe a free ride to P1. We'll have to wait and see, though. But Lando is definitely going to be the dark horse of this race. They're going to hopefully make the most of some slipstream, DRS, the two softer compound strategy. We're going to have to pull out all the stops in order to win this race. So I'm thoroughly excited. Let's get into it.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher in 1992.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
All right, then, let's roll into this race with hopefully a bit of momentum. We do have some good news, though. We're starting this race from P5. Danny Kvyat got a penalty for changing components, so that's added a little boost, which gives us a little leg up and makes us a little bit closer to our championship rivals, in particular Verstappen, who I really want to finish ahead of today. I think that's going to be the ultimate goal, but still, we'll try and win the race if we can. Lowering the fuel load, using the 2 softer compounded tyre, and this is hopefully the way to a podium or a race win. We are underway for the second half of the season here in Spa, and Gasly gets off to a shocker. Albon starting off really well as we dive bomb the AlphaTauri, and we move ourselves up into 4th place with Verstappen just up the road. So, good start from us so far. We need to keep up the momentum and stay with Verstappen for as long as we can, as we have a bit of a moment going up Radion for the first time. But unfortunately, a bit of an air gap between us and Verstappen, so hopefully we can close that over this opening lap. And, you know, hopefully Norris can do some good work for us in the early laps, hold up Verstappen, which will, I don't know, maybe allow us to get past him, because Norris is going to be slow for these first few laps, but it won't take him long for the medium compound tyre to phase in really nicely. And before too long, Norris will be the fastest man in the field. So we'll see how it all plays out. But for the time being, I'm really struggling to keep pace with the race leaders. So normally, one lap pace is a bit of a struggle for me, but it's seeming like the race pace is maybe also lacking a little bit as well, as we've now fallen out of DRS range. Didn't even get a chance to have a little go, but speaking of having a go, it's Verstappen around the outside of Norris down into the Lake Coombe chicane, and he's on the outside. It's not where you want to be, and Verstappen ultimately gets squeezed out and loses a lot of time because of that. So this squabbling between Verstappen and Norris is allowing, oh my goodness, there's Pierre Gasly out of nowhere. That battling is allowing Albon to get away, who DNF'd from the last race, so he'll be eager to get a win today. But it's also bringing their fight back towards me, so I'm fighting my way back into contention now, and we do have DRS as we head on to lap 4, so that's absolutely crucial for us now. We can get onto the back of these two, who continue to squabble down into the Lake Coombe chicane, and again, nothing doing there for Verstappen. Norris really placing his car quite well and making Verstappen go the long way around, and he's able to keep track position for the time being. But this must be so frustrating for Norris, who ultimately just wants to get on with this and catch up to Albon, but Verstappen is being so annoying and is holding them both up. We have Daniel Ricciardo out of the Grand Prix. I'm guessing it's failure-wise. It is. There is no crash there. It is a straight-up retirement for Renault. A very familiar sight for us Daniel Ricciardo fans the last 2 years. Anyway, heading into the Lake Coombe chicane again, Verstappen trying to make this work. This is only going to go one way. And it's only going to get worse as well, as Verstappen's tyres start to die off even further. And I think we might have even hit the crossover point now, as Verstappen is pretty much unable to really contest up against Lando Norris. The pit window is now open here on lap 8. We're going to dive in for medium compound tyres. I don't know, what everyone else is going to do, whether they're going to go hards, but this is the first time that Verstappen doesn't have DRS, and we fly past him on the straight. We're now on the podium in this Belgian Grand Prix, and now we might be able to challenge our teammate Lando, but like I said, we're coming in at the end of this lap, and he's still outside of a second, so that's probably not going to be a scenario which comes into play. But meanwhile, Verstappen, freshly overtaken by us, he now gets overtaken by Gasly, who has amazing straight line speed. Gasly was really keeping me honest in his first stint. I really had to use a lot of rich and overtake to simply keep him behind me. But we're into the pit lane now for the end of our first stint. We're going on to medium compound tyres. Now we see if we've got a golden strategy versus everyone else. Albon getting held in the pits there for us. He's onto the medium compound tyres. So I'm guessing the majority of the field is going to switch to mediums here. And it's just going to be an equal strategy. Look at that pit stop. 1.8 seconds from the lads there. Better drug test the the tyre guys, because that just seemed out of this world how quickly they were able to switch on to that new tyre. That's kind of defied the laws of gravity there. How fast they were moving with the sheer weight of that tyre. Anyway, we cut on to the next lap, and this is Albon getting held up behind Antoine Hubert. This is not great for his race, as he built out a 2 or 3 second lead over Norris, and now Norris is on the medium compound tyre, running a pretty good pace. Finally, Albon gets released. Verstappen doing the extra lap on the softs, so he's going to get undercut by us and Albon, and he gets held in the pit lane as well for good measure, so you'd certainly think that we'll be able to jump him as we come out of as he comes out of the pits, basically. Albon with the fastest lap. Norris making his stop, and he's gone on to hards as well. So that's not a great strategy from my teammate. Don't know what it is with this guy, but he goes very conservative with his tyre strategies, meaning he's not going to have the pace over these next few laps. He is going to have to play the long game and hope that Albon's tyres die out towards the end. And then maybe he might be able to challenge towards the end. But, yeah, I was following Norris here. And one thing I quickly realised is that despite him being on a harder compounded tyre, he still had really good pace, did Norris. And so I actually don't think he's out of the fight for this win, to be honest. He's lapping about the same speed as Albon, if not maybe slightly quicker. As you can see outside the purple third sector there. We are closing in on Albon ever so slightly. But as we get towards the end of the Grand Prix, that advantage for Norris is going to accelerate rapidly. And he'll quickly find himself on the back of the race leader. So I'm hoping to stay with him if I can. I've been trying to stay with him. I did the best job I could for about 7 laps there. I fast-forwarded this very quickly. And now for the first time, we don't have DRS. So that was a turning point in the Grand Prix, because now that leaves me open and vulnerable to Gasly, who has got DRS on us. So we're up in a rich and overtake, going defensive, trying to defend the inside line. But Gasly, with that extra straight line speed, dives up the inside with the fresher tyres and gets up the inside. He's now on the podium now in this Belgian Grand Prix. There was nothing I could have done there. I ran rich and overtake the whole straight, but he still got me down into the hairpin. And Kevin Magnussen is out.
The safety car has been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the...
Is this guy serious? Gasly has just brake checked us. We've got a 5-second time penalty and we've lost our front wing. But this guy in the middle of the racing line just brakes and swerves towards us, and we are the ones who get a 5-second time penalty for that. That is an absolute joke. Like, I'd just been overtaken by the guy. I was fully in race mode. I had basically no time to react to the safety car coming out, and all of a sudden I've got a face full of AlphaTauri gearbox lodged in my front wing. That is so much fun. That is what I sign up to be a virtual Formula 1 driver. Moments like that is absolutely amazing. So, safety car is out. We're in for a change of front wing, a change of underwear, a change of tyres, a change of attitude, a change of everything, change of strategy. Let's see if the soft compound tyre will work for us. We only have a used set left, which we used in quali. But after a very lengthy pit stop, 13.5 seconds, a 5-second hold for the penalty, changing the front wing and the tyres, we've been shunted down to 13th place. So with only 2 laps of green flag racing left after this one, we have a bit of a mountainous challenge to overcome. We need to get back inside the points, and we need to reclaim as many points as we can get for the sake of the championship. We're already 7 points in the negative compared to Verstappen. Norris is going to get big points in us. So too is Albon. We are back underway for green flag running, and we're basically overtaking Sainz out of the last corner, which is legal somehow. So we're going to roll with that. There's a bit of an air gap to the next car, who is George Russell on hard compound tyres in the Ferrari. Once we dispatch of him, hopefully this lap, we can start to move on to the points runners. And as you can see, I'm using up my corner cutting tokens. I don't think I've corner cut at all this Grand Prix, so I may as well use them up now to try and catch up. Fast laps being set up and down the field. Lando Norris dipping into the 37s for the first time. Maybe if we get in the points, we can get ourselves a bonus point for good measure, as well as we dive bomb Russell down into turn 1. Turned in there, he didn't see me. It was a late move, to be fair, so I don't blame him, but we move ourselves up into P11. But maybe that was not a good idea to overtake there, because it slowed me up through the entirety of that straight. That's my second and final warning of the race. One more and that's a penalty, and we are, well, guaranteed to not get any points in this race. It's somehow not falling our way. There's so much pace up and down the field. I've only managed to get up to P11 on soft compound tyres. Aitken is up next in the McLaren. Pretty much a rookie, and he looks like he's going to get away with one singular point in this Belgian Grand Prix. Albon wins the Grand Prix very narrowly over my teammate Lando Norris, and we are going to come across the line with nothing.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
All that fighting, all that pace, We showed. And we come away with nothing. Wow.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
This is going to be an absolute disaster for the championship. A non-points finish after only recently getting a non-points finish as well. I think it was Silverstone, wasn't it? But, you know, from a neutral perspective, this is going to blow the championship wide open. Albon, after the DNF last time, gets 25 points. Lando, who didn't get many points last race, bounces back strongly with a fastest lap. And Verstappen, our championship leader, has a bit of a poor day, as did we. So, what do I say? What do I say about that? Like, we were in the podium positions for the whole race. Gasly overtakes us, and literally 2 corners later, safety car comes out, brake checked, and all of a sudden, the race, the safety net that we had, the rug was basically pulled from under us, and we were out of the points. So we trail by 19 now. Verstappen looking pretty comfy in the championship. Lando in the best car, has had a few shaky races. I've had some shaky races. This championship could be anyone's, and Albon actually isn't too far behind me now in the standings if you rewind the video. So, yeah, I'm actually so pissed off that we couldn't capitalize on that race, get a podium, because I think we could have fought back and got back past Gasly there, but it's going to have to wait another race. In a way now, I'm glad I didn't waste the new engine on this race, but yeah, it definitely blows the championship wide open. I'm not sure who's going to win now. It literally could be anyone. And our pace has just been a bit shaky, especially over one lap. So I might have to invest in some new setups and get back on the pace. I'm not too worried about Monza. Monza's always strong for us, but it's the races following that. Or following Singapore. Singapore's really good for us too. After then, who knows? So, back to the drawing board. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. As a closing thought, let me know down in the comments if you think Gasly was at fault for that or if he deserved a penalty, because I'd love to know. But anyway, until the next race, the Italian Grand Prix, I'll see you next time.